in Golden, Colorado. And during his tenure, he designed and executed multiple training programs aimed at enhancing efficiency, performance, and leadership of employees. After a 6-year tenure at Coors, he moved to Amazon as Senior Quality Manager and led community engagement initiatives. In 2021, he joined the USD Foundation as campaign director, and I think it was March, about a year ago, he was named President and CEO of the USD Foundation. His passion for USD and his proven skills as a team builder and someone who understands the importance of relationship building are key to the reasons that he was appointed. He met his wife Abby while he was at USD, and they have 3 children. So, with no further ado, come up here, Mr. Quarterback.
Thank you so much, Sue, and Jim, thank you. I don't know if I should say thank you or not, because he shook you down for all your money already, so I guess I can't make an ask. But it's a true pleasure, and I'm humbled and honored to be here with you today. This role to me means so much, and our decision as a family to come back to South Dakota really heavily hinged on being here at USD. I feel like I've truly grown up. And the University of South Dakota has opened up doors in my life that I never thought were possible. I'm a first-generation college graduate. Was raised by a single mother. Nobody had the opportunities in our family that I was awarded here, and I wear that with a tremendous sense of pride. So to be able to serve this community, this institution, this foundation and alumni association, I want you to know how much it truly means to me. I'm going to try not to cry, because apparently I was a decent quarterback from what I've just been told. But no, in all seriousness, I wouldn't want to be doing it any other place, and it means a ton to me to be with you all today. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of an understanding of what we've been up to. It's been about almost 11 months now, 10 months with me in the seat, and we've made some significant changes. And I wanted to just kind of take you through. I'll give some time at the end to ask questions on what we've been up to and specific questions that you may have. But really, some of the things we really focused on early on is our culture. You may or may not have heard about cultures in the past at the foundation and how we show up. But we've really embraced this spirit of grit. And for me, grit, not only in its true definition, but grit is defined for me as gratitude, integrity, and trust. And those things need to be evident in how we show up to any event that we're at, how we show up with our donors, how we show up with our campus partners, our board members, and that's something that we carry with a lot of pride. In this picture, you can see just about our entire staff at Feeding South Dakota. We've made it a point to ensure that we are impacting the communities in which we work and live. This is just kind of the first step as a team that where we've really made an impact, but we're able to pack 620 boxes for a community that needed it around Christmas time. So we really kind of came together and collaborated and had some great results in this time. But really more than that, we're trying to ensure that we can be present, we can be visible in these communities. So I challenge everyone here, if there's anything in the community here of Vermillion where you think we can make a true difference, reach out. We want to be a part of that. We want to show up. We want to be great partners in the communities in which we work and live. From my seat, we ask a lot of people. You've probably seen the mailers. You've probably had conversations with our folks. Our job is to ask for a lot of things, but we have the ability to give back in a way in which we may or may not have in the past, and that's something we're going to keep front and center. So our people to me are paramount to our success. We have incredible people, a lot of which have walked through these same doors, just like a lot of us alums that went to the University of South Dakota. Certainly that's not all that we look for, but it's a nice plus when we have a chance to bring some alums back and make a difference and serve the community that helped bring them up. So our people are incredible, and if there's one thing that you should take away today, it's exactly that. None of this is a me thing, it's a we thing, and it'll always be that way. And strong proponent in who you surround yourself with, you'll get the results that you want. we're going to continue to do that and make sure we're getting the right people on board. This is currently what our staff looks like. We're at 39 FTEs. A couple key additions. We brought in Margaret Carmody. She actually backfilled the VP role that I had previous. Margaret comes to us from Raven Industries, very polished professional executive. She's worked in various different roles at Raven. She recently served in a position at the Washington Pavilion. After Raven was acquired, she went a different direction, but we're blessed to have her. Carson Ruby, you may have seen him at some events as of late, connected to athletics. If you haven't heard from him yet, you will certainly be hearing from him soon, but a very key stakeholder in our organization as well. And then Stacy Saunier is going to continue to help in our HR areas as well, which we've made some moves, so that was a gap for us, so nice to be able to address that. We've had some departures. And people ask me why. Why do you have departures? Why are people leaving? It seems like everything is great. Things are great, but expectations have been increased. What we're asking of our team to do is much more than what we've done in recent years. And the only way to get different results is to get, set different metrics and drive a different way in which we have in the past. So that's something that we're going to continue to set forth in front of our people. High expectations, high bar. Go out and achieve it. And some folks will self-select out of our organization, and that's okay. But what I'm really thrilled with what we've been able to do is we've been able to build some really solid bench strength within our organization to make sure that those gaps don't go unfilled for too long. We're always working on succession planning, understanding who's next, understanding who brings different skill sets to the table to help challenge and continually improve. Active openings, if you know any development directors who, and maybe Jim Peterson can get a side gig because he can ask for money anywhere, it sounds like. If you know anybody who's interested, we have several openings right now. We are going to make sure that we measure twice before we cut with any hire. We want to make sure that the data supports it. We want to make sure that we're making smart and data-driven decisions, bring the right people on to continue to grow our brand with passion, with grit, and continue to help us accomplish great things here at the University of South Dakota. I'll jump into it. Money. The money in the production this year. So I just want to provide a little bit of context. So last year we had a mediocre year at the foundation. We raised $22,400,000 start to finish fiscal year at July 1 to June 30. We went to the drawing board, really understood what we had in the pipeline, tried to develop a strategy that was based on really growing at about a 25% rate. My goal for our group is to be a $60 million sustainable operation within a 10-year time frame. That's a big growth. There's a lot of things that have to go into that, and we have to be diligent on how we approach that. But in my heart of hearts, based on what I've seen from a data perspective, I know we can get there. So we set a goal this year of $32,500,000. When I talked about our people being incredible, I mean they're incredible. We reached that in December, which is incredible. You can kind of see there on the bottom from July, you can see a lot of green there, which is awesome. But currently we're sitting at 387% better year over year. There's a lot of things going in our favor that won't always be there. The market's okay. I think we'd all agree with that. In most cases, we've had a great opportunity with our football to be seen on a national football team on a national setting. Great things are happening in fine arts. Great things are happening in arts and sciences, the B School. Great things are happening all over. You probably get just a whole bunch of USD news right now, and that's intentional. We want to make sure that we have the chance to tell the stories from the mountaintops. Sorry, Colorado kid, from the bluff tops. And make sure that we can share those stories of all the great things that our alums and our students are doing currently. But none of this happens without, again, the staff that we have, the expectations that have been set and met by our team, and we're just getting started. So our goal now, we made an adjustment in December. I didn't think it was responsible to say, hey, we hit our goal halfway through the year. So we adjusted that goal from $35,500,000 to $50 million. And we're progressing nicely. So these numbers, as you see in front of you, are through the end of January. So we got about $6.5 million to go for the year. Now, I want to make it very clear that's not just cash in my pocket. That's not cash in the foundation's pocket. Those are new and committed pledges that can be strung out for 1 to 10 years. But those are new dollars, new commitments that have come into the organization this year, and something we're extremely proud of. But we're also committed to not just being a flash in the pan. We don't just want to do it for 1 year. We want to be consistent year over year over year. The holistic fundraising ecosystem. So we've looked at the foundation. Obviously, there's a philanthropic arm. You hear about it a lot. Give more money, give more money, give more money. But what's important to understand is, as a foundation and alumni association, we have to take a holistic approach, right? It's not just singular in philanthropy. You don't just go up to somebody and not have a relationship with them and ask them for $20 million. It doesn't work. I've tried it. I'm just kidding. But you have to be able to build a relationship with these folks from the time they get out of college to the time that they move on in life, right? So we've really focused in on bringing new alums in, fresh off of graduation, starting to build a relationship with them, get them involved in 4 key buckets, whether that's philanthropy, volunteerism, experiential, gosh, I'm drawing a blank on the 4th. Philanthropy, volunteerism, experiential, or mentorship. Those are the 4. So we've really focused in on getting them back involved at a place that we hope that they had a great experience at and a great tenure at, to start to build that relationship earlier. As we continue to go on here, you'll see I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Why that's so important for us is, across higher education, you're seeing a dramatic decline in donor counts all across the country. And it's something that's alarming, something that we have to be proactive around. We have to make sure that we can continue to build those relationships, so when they're in the prime stages of their life and their profession, the first place that they think to give back to is going to be the USD. And that's what we want to be. We want to be the charity of choice. We truly do. But that doesn't happen by being transactional. That doesn't happen without having a relationship. So all of those things really fold into reversing that decline. So something we have to be extremely mindful of. Widening the funnel. This is something that I may or may not have beaten into everybody's head at the university and at the foundation, but we have to widen the funnel. And what I mean by that is, who else can we bring into our sphere? Who else can we get involved? Obviously, there's alumni and friends which we have to connect with more. How do we bring them in? How do we get them on campus? And then how do we get them to be aware of what things they can be a part of on campus, with the foundation and the communities, to start to feel that sense of pride, to ultimately at some point become engaged, want to make a difference, and then get committed in a fashion in which will turn into philanthropy long term. So it is not a transactional business. It is not as simple as going up to each of you and asking you for hundreds of thousands of dollars. That doesn't work. We have to be thinking more holistic. If we can get more people in the funnel, our chances of having more success on the philanthropy side dramatically increase, and that's something we're going to continue to focus on as a group. So really proud of what we've been able to do so far in that space, but we have a long way to go. Stewardship. If any of you have given to the university, it's not, again, we don't want it to be cut a check and then you never hear from us again. Stewardship is not only just thanking you, but it's showing the impact of what your investment made. It's showing the impact of what your volunteerism made. Experiential learning opportunities for kids, being able to show tangible results of what your investment, your time, your treasure, whatever that looks like, what that did for our community. And we've done a great job of really making some adjustments in how we've approached that from year to year. If you look at this it's there on the left side for most of you, on my right side. This was made for a donor who had an experiential opportunity for folks that had a passion in studying abroad. So what we did is we had students take pictures. We had students take, whether it was the food or experiences, and we captured that, and then we presented it to them in a way that they'll never forget about the engine that helped get them there, and that was that donor. So really thinking outside of the box. How do we make it even more special? How do you feel even more connected to the initiative that you're supporting? Those are very important steps in our work, and without good stewardship, you'll never have an opportunity to get that person back in the pipeline and ask them for additional funds down the line. So we want to make sure that it's a holistic journey for them. They feel it from the start all the way to the finish, and we continue to have that circle moving around from qualification all the way through stewardship. Thank you letters. Anybody give to the University of South Dakota Foundation this year? Anybody receive a thank you letter? Did you notice anything different this year? More personal? Good. I'm glad you felt that. We were very intentional about how we went about that this year. We don't want it to be a big box letter that goes to everybody, doesn't connect you back very much. We wanted it to come straight from the students' mouths. We wanted you to really understand the impact that you made in these lives. Talk to our staff a lot. We're in the business of changing lives, and that's pretty cool. It's really pretty cool job that we have the opportunity to do. So the folks who are helping accomplish that for these students, we want you to feel a part of it too. We want you to feel connected. We want you to feel passionate about it, and we're going to continue to take those steps to make sure that you do. Here's some other cool projects that we've been doing as of late. First-time donors, just a more tailored thank you card. You know, if we get a chance to get them in as first-time donors, there's a chance they're going to give again for the second, all the way up to the 100th time. So we got to make sure that we're very focused on thanking people in the appropriate fashion. And then we have some anniversary type mailers that have been going out as well. And this is all in conjunction with you seeing us. Again, being more present at events, being more present in the communities. These accentuate that opportunity, but if we get an opportunity to say thank you, we're gonna take full advantage of that. Lastly, a couple of, and Unite for USD is already gone, so I appreciate your participation in that. But really just wanted to show you what we have on the docket coming up. So next week we'll be in Scottsdale. Following week we'll be in DC. We got the grand opening of the Discovery District coming up. Calling All Coyotes, which Jim teed up nice in early April. Wellness Center, the grand openings come right around the corner too, so we ask that you attend those. Anybody in Rapid City, which, fun fact, is our second largest, let's see here. So we have Sioux Falls as our #1 population in alums. Rapid City, Minneapolis, Omaha, and Denver are our top 5 markets in terms of sheer alums in those areas. Rapid City has always kind of felt like it's more than a state away. It feels like a separate state sometimes, so we put a lot of focus in making sure that we show up, we continue to support those folks, and we help them get engaged as much as we possibly can, so we're going to continue to do that. And then right on the horizon, coming up in August, we have our second annual USD night at Target Field. So anybody go to that last year? Awesome. Well, we did an after-action review. Obviously, it was a great opportunity to celebrate both the Yotes and the Twins, but we didn't have a whole lot of engagement opportunities. So this year, it's going to look a whole lot different. We have an alumni event the evening before, which will be great, and then we have options and opportunities for folks to connect in nearby settings, bars, before the game, so we can have some more camaraderie and really celebrate this monument, this great occasion. Excuse me. So we're excited about what we're building. Again, none of this happens without the great people that we have, and none of this happens without the great alums and great supporters that we have of our mission. We're going to continue to show up. My ask of this group is to continue to get engaged, whatever that looks like. I tell people there's 3 T's: time, talent, and treasure. If we don't have the time and we don't have the talent, which I don't think that's the case here, hopefully we have some treasure. But I always tell folks the three things that you can give, and I know everybody can give at least one of these in here, is the time, talent, or treasure. You have the ability to make a tremendous difference in lives of our students, of our faculty, and we take that very seriously. So if that's something you're interested in, please reach out to myself or anyone at our foundation. We're still at the Wagner Center here. If you're in Sioux Falls for whatever reason, pop in and see us on 8th and Phillips at the Commerce Center. We'd love to see you, and continue to spread the word. None of this happens without great alums and great supporters like you. We're just excited to be doing what we're doing. So I don't want to take too much of your time. I wanted to open it up for some questions. So anybody out there have any questions for us? How did I know? Sue Tooby.
So my question, over the last few years, there's been kind of a disconnect between the USD Foundation and
Yeah.
the campus community, and particularly the deans.
Sure.
Can you speak to
Yeah.
address the community?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've really taken on this concept, and I have to give our campus partners a lot of credit. From day one, we really talked about being one brand, one voice, one mission. At times it's felt like it's very separate, us against them, them against us. We've worked really hard here in the first 10 months to get over that. I spend a lot of time with the deans one-on-one. Our VP, Margaret Carmody, spends a lot of time with them. We've talked about expectations and the kind of the management style of the development directors that represent the academic units, and athletics and other initiatives as well. But we've taken more of a shared responsibility in it, understanding that we exist to support the institution, right? The Foundation and Alumni Association exists to support that, not the other way around. And I think there was a time when maybe those wires got crossed a little bit, but we know exactly our purpose, we know why we're here, and we will continue to work arm in arm as one brand, one voice with the institution to accomplish things that hopefully we haven't in the past.
What is your single greatest challenge?
Well, that's a lot to unpack there. I think the single greatest challenge is if you look at our entire alumni base, right now we're at 81,506, I think is the number of our alumni base. About 9% of them are involved with either time, talent, or treasure right now. So looking at the results and what we've been able to accomplish this year with only 9% participation, imagine what it could be if we were to get to 50%, 75%, 80%. I think the biggest challenge is meeting folks where they're at, right? Everyone's all over the country. Obviously, people have things going on, personally, professionally, but how do we grab their attention in a way in which we haven't in the past and get them involved in one of those three buckets? We also have to be able to measure that effectively on our end. We have to share how we want to measure that with our campus partners and make sure that there's continuity across campus. But I'd say that the greatest challenge that we have, given what we've seen in trends in the country and donor declines, the greatest challenge is going to be able to see record highs in alumni engagement to the tune of 25, 30, 45%. Our goal is to get to 50%. And as we graduate more students, that number grows. As folks pass on, there's challenges there. So we got to meet people where they're at, and we have to give them a reason to get involved with us as an alumni association and then impact the mission of the university.
Do you have any idea what it is for other universities across the country?
Yeah, so I would say we're about middle of the pack. Based on the data that I've seen, engagement, depending on the institution size. I mean, you got the Alabamas of the world, Texases of the world. They have higher engagement rates for obvious reasons. A lot of that is driven by athletics. There are other schools, Ivy League schools, that have engagement levels much higher because of academic purposes and other reasons. When we start to look at that, I don't want to, there's outliers there, and that we'll probably never get to that height as a Texas, Alabama, one of those schools, or an Ivy League school. So really what we look at is peer comparisons. So we compare ourselves quite a bit to South Dakota State, North Dakota State, and North Dakota. We're not far off from any of those. We're actually in the middle of the pack of that group. So we're not far off. I don't want it to sound like we're not doing great things, because we truly are. But we have room for growth. We also, with increased expectations and just a very clear 10-year vision that we've set forth for the foundation, I think we can get over that hump and start to be leaders in that cohort. So I want to make sure that it's all very, comparable for us, but we don't settle, and we're not satisfied with just being middle of the pack. We want to lead the way for that group particularly, and then see if we can't find some new challenges along the way. Yeah.
What percentage of your donation foundations come from wills in the states.
Sure.
And is it difficult to approach and set up and collect the money from?
Sure. Sure. So this year, just over 35% of our totals have come from estate gifts. So our production, which goes into our production number, is cash now, pledges, like I said, from 1 to 10 years. We prefer 5 years is kind of the sweet spot, and then estate gifts. The industry, different folks do it different ways. The standard that's been set by CASE, which is kind of our North Star in the industry, is that you count the money now, which gives you the opportunity to steward, right? You don't count it twice, you count it now. But we've seen about 35 to 40% this year in estate giving. The conversation is there's times where it may feel a little bit more difficult than it truly is. I think broaching the topic in the appropriate manner is really the sweet spot that we found. It's not easy to talk about when you pass. It truly isn't. It's an awkward feeling for a lot of our folks. But we've provided a lot of training. Actually, Sue Tuvey has actually done some training for our folks and how we start to broach these conversations. So we spend a lot of time and effort to make sure that our folks are prepared and ready. If we're prepared and ready, the conversation isn't nearly as awkward. But it is, there's an art to it. You talk about art and science of this industry. You got the data piece on the science end, and then you got the relationship building, which is the art. You got to have the whole picture to really be able to navigate through those conversations appropriately.
So I don't think it's much of a secret that Vermillion, as a D1 university, is a very small community.
Sure.
So my question is, knowing the foundation and the foundation's potential impact in our community.
Sure.
And we're also a little bit tight on time, so maybe
Yeah.
not a lot of time to answer.
Sure.
What connections do you have with the city in their efforts to even grow
Sure.
our population?
Sure. No, that's a great question. So I don't think it's a secret to folks. So I live in Sioux Falls. I'm here probably 3 days a week if I'm not on the road. Great relationship with Jim Peterson. A lot of key stakeholders in the community. Being a part of this is a great opportunity for me to meet some new faces. I say all that in the vein of, I don't feel like I'm an outsider. Obviously I walked through these halls, hopefully made an impact while I was here as a student. I know that we have a lot of work to do. And again, with 80,000 folks as alums, we owe it to them to try to be front and center and make sure that we have the necessary conversations at the right time. But being a part of the community means a ton to us. Not just going to athletic events, but going to fine arts performances, being a part of had a chance to be a part of the Hall of Fame at the Fine Arts this year. Those opportunities, looking forward to being a part of those more. I certainly don't want 45 miles to be a barrier for me. What I want this group to know is how much I trust and appreciate this community for the support that they've already provided and what they will provide in the future. But I am really here for everyone. I don't necessarily have the perfect answer, but I think the best way to show you is to show you. For me, the easy thing to do would be to sit up here and say some things and then not follow through. I'd rather just show you what we're about. So we've kind of taken that on as a foundation and alumni association, and I hope that you felt that we are more present and that we're coming in with not an agenda, but we're coming in prepared. We're ready to go and make an impact in the communities in which we work and live. So.
20 years ago, you came out for a football camp or something similar.
Yeah.
What would you tell that kid if you could go back in time?
So Rand was my professor. Quick story on Rand. That's a great question. Oklahoma State, right?
Yes, sir.
So Rand got here from Oklahoma State. He told me, I don't know how long I'll be here. But by any chance, do you know any local honey farms around here? Because my kids have allergies. I'm like, honey and allergies? What the heck's going on here? But later found out when I had my own kids that if you get locally sourced honey, it helps with allergies. So thank you for that. And you're still here, which is awesome. Yeah, I love it. I think what I would tell that kid is, you know, I think I came in with expectations as a city kid going to a small town, and you know, maybe my britches were a little big coming into a small town. But I'll never forget the first time I crossed Cherry Street from the North Complex over by Patterson Hall. There was a green light at that stoplight, and a woman stopped. It might have been you, Sue. I don't know. I don't know who it was. But she had a green light, and she stopped and she waved me through. And at that point in time, I felt she's not in too much of a hurry. She cares about her community, and this community is special. And that was just the first time I felt that. I felt that every day I walked through these halls. Every day I went to football practice. Every time I showed up at class, that there's something special about this place. So what I would tell that kid is, leave your ego at the door, which I hope I do now in a very good fashion. But really immerse yourself in the community and embrace it for what it is and how great it truly is. Vermillion and USD, I led this off, have transformed my life and my wife's life in a way in which we could never imagine. You know, Sue was reading some of my career accomplishments. I mean, there's no way in heck that a education grad should be working for Amazon and doing what I was doing. There's no way in heck. And the only way I was able to accomplish that is the way I was prepped and prepared here at the University of South Dakota. So trust the process, trust the community, get involved, and if you get an opportunity at some point in time, come back and give it back, you know, tenfold. So, and I hope that we can continue to do that. So appreciate that. Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you, Noah. And thank you to our guest, Rachel, today. I'm glad to welcome you again. You're the 50-50.